One of the biggest keys to scaling your brand is choosing your marketing media so you don't lose money. It's day 8, and if you're new here, I'm Craig Dew, and 0 to 1 million follows the business growth of Rev Levers and the vegan Shopify brands we help grow through education-based branding. So let's start by talking about allowable customer acquisition cost and the lifetime value. Because really, though marketing is treated as a game of words and branding and emotion and that kind of thing, it often is the mathematical things that come to the forefront when you're trying to scale a brand and take it to the next level. And so the first thing is customer acquisition cost. We shorten it to CAC, C-A-C, and it's how much money you're willing to spend. Well, your allowable customer acquisition cost is how much you're willing to spend to get a customer. So say you have a product that sells for $40 and you have $20 of gross profit in that, you're probably, well, hopefully willing to spend about $20 to get that customer, because you know when they buy the $40 product that on average a customer stays with you for say 10 months more. So they got the first month, first purchase, then they stay for another 10 months, 11 months in total. And that's where the lifetime value comes in. So you'd be making $20 from that customer each month for the next 10th month, and that's $200. So hopefully that makes sense. It gets a little bit confusing without a spreadsheet, or even in a spreadsheet. So you pay $20, you get a customer, the customer pays you $200 over their lifetime. And that's the math that comes into every business decision that we make when it comes to marketing of, are we meeting our allowable acquisition cost? From the biggest companies to the smallest companies, you're trying to think in those terms. And it might be we're putting out $1 million in advertising, but we want to create that much value and acquire so many more customers from it. The massive brands probably don't think as accurately in those terms, but when you're getting started, you're going from 0 to 1 million or 10 million. These are very important numbers to know. So that's the first part, is figuring out what the math behind your customer acquisition needs to be in order for it to work. And that will inform the decisions you make in terms of the marketing media. And so another thing to remember is everything takes time, money, or both time and money. And so while there's a lot of people telling you how you're going to get all this free traffic to your website or free marketing for your brand, it's simply not true. You're going to pay in time or money either way. And so you have to bring this into the equation that you're doing too. So let's jump into, this is a good model or framework to think about how you market your business. So this is from Alex Hormozi. He has a book, $100 Million Leads, and he talks about the core 4. And so everything you do in marketing kind of fits into these 4 buckets. Some of them you have to stretch the bucket a little bit, but this will help kind of position everything that you're doing. So the core 4 are warm outreach, cold outreach, posting free content, or paid advertising. And so to go through those briefly, so warm outreach is basically one-on-one. You're sending a message to someone that you already know. If you're starting your business and you're messaging a friend about it, that's warm outreach. Cold outreach is when you do the same thing, but it's to complete strangers. So you're sending out emails or messages to people who have no idea who you are. Posting free content is like this, making a YouTube video, posting it on YouTube, or free content through the social media, writing blogs on your website, SEO, those kind of things that come into it, which is one of those paid versus free arguments as well. And then we've got paid ads as well. So you're familiar with them on social media like Meta on Facebook and Instagram, or TikTok ads and all that kind of stuff, down to print magazines or newspaper or TV, radio advertising, all those different things. So there's a whole bunch of channels that fit into those 4 boxes that you can be using for it, but it gives you a framework to think about where you're actually putting your resources. And so for our business, for Rev Levers, we focus on cold outreach, because our business speaks to a very specific avatar. So we know that we want to attract vegan Shopify brands. And so we can go out, and we've got a list of, there's about 2,500 vegan Shopify stores on the internet at this point. And then we go through those websites and we bring it down. So we've got about 100 people that would be our ideal customers on our Dream 100 list, and we start working through those people and we start talking to them and building value. It also is for us, because Muhammad is a full-time employee here, it's a cost in terms of his time, so I'm already paying his salary anyway, so it's taking some of his salary and directing it towards those marketing efforts to get more clients, but it's a cost that I'm paying in the business. If you are hiring someone to go out and do it for you, or like if you're doing it yourself, it costs your own time. If you're hiring someone else to do it, it costs the time that you're paying them, obviously. So there's time or money costs, whichever way you look at it. And then one of the aspects that we try to do differently, like you can do cold outreach when you have the traditional way of people teaching you it is you have a big list of tens of thousands of businesses or hundreds of thousands, and you just spam them with all this random crap, and eventually you'll get some people to respond, and that will work. Because we have a very tailored list in terms of who we want to work with, we want to be a welcome guest instead of an annoying pest. That's a phrase that comes from Dan Kennedy. So it's how do we actually build value through those interactions and being very specific in the help that we're offering people as well, not just going, hey, you want to give us money over and over again. And so that's what we're doing here. What makes More Ascension more interesting for our market is to talk about if you had a Shopify store. So cold outreach probably isn't going to work specifically for you. There are aspects of it where you might be talking to influencers or trying to get distribution. Depends on your brand. If you need to get big retail distribution through a food like supermarket group, then you won't be going store by store, but that could be another way as well. So there is cold outreach in terms of getting retail distribution or building up those relationships that you might want as well. So it's important to have that skill when you need it and be good at it. However, the main two skills to grow like your kind of e-commerce sales, and that will also drive retail store purchases as well, is free content or paid advertising. So you kind of got those two avenues are going to be the main ones in order of actually selling your product. And so free content takes a lot of time, so it takes longer to get going, but it doesn't take as much money. And so if you have more time than money, then free content is a good path forward. On the other hand, if you have less time but more money, then paid advertising is the way to go, because you can literally put $1 in and say you're getting $20, putting in $20, get a customer, put in another $20, and you're just kind of feeding the machine with money. And obviously if you want to get more customers, you've got to put in more money, and that scales up with you as well. So it depends where your business is in terms of how you make it work. If you get your customer acquisition down in terms of paid advertising, then you can scale that up quite quickly, but there is a big time lag in getting your ads working so you're hitting your customer acquisition cost that you want, because it's not just putting up the first ad and going, yay, we made it. You're competing against everyone else that might be competing on Facebook or whatever the channel that you're using. So in order to stand out and be successful, it takes time. It's not just, oh, well, Facebook doesn't work for me because I tried it for 2 weeks or 3 months or 6 months. Like, it's a process to learn how to do these things and get it right. Which kind of brings us to our next point, which is picking a channel. And so everything you do is going to take time. And what we do often as business owners, and I am very guilty of this myself, is we try to do multiple different things at the same time. You could argue we're doing cold outreach to get this, and I'm also producing this content for kind of funsies, and we're not quite sure how this will help us get customers, but it might. But it's kind of a 3, 5, 10 year plan as part of that. So we should really just focus in on the cold outreach, and I shouldn't make these videos for you. It's a complete probably waste of time, but that's a different story. If you're thinking about for your own business, you really want to get really good at one marketing channel. And so Alex Hormozi also has a framework he talks about, which is called More, Better, New. And so what happens when we start marketing is lots of people and business owners and working with lots of clients, we like the shiny objects and what's new out there that we can do. So if we're running ads on Facebook and they're doing pretty good, it's like, oh, let's go do it on TikTok and figure that out as well. Oh, okay, let's go and do some social media influencers and do that. And so you're trying to spread yourself too thin, trying to do multiple different things. Versus if you get good at meta advertising, and it's making money, then you ask yourself, well, how do I do more of that? And so can I put more money in and get more back? And you just keep repeating that process until you literally can't do more of it. When you hit that ceiling of more, then that's where step 2 of Alex's formula thing comes in, and you do better. And so if you can't put more money in, it's probably because your ads aren't good enough. And so you need to make the ads better. And then you can do more again. And then you've got to make the ads better and more better over and over again. Until you're really spending like $100,000 a month or $1 million a month, depending on your market size in advertising, then you're not saturating a platform. So by going more better, you can grow that. Before you need to go and jump and go, oh, now I need YouTube ads or whatever it is. That's changing channel, and you're learning new rules and new ads and making a new format that doesn't work as well. And so the more you focus on one thing, the better you will get at it. Like for here, I'm really focusing on making these YouTube videos, the longer form ones, because I think these will be more value on the content end, but I'm still doing a short and then we're putting it on all the different channels, but I'm not focusing on how do I grow a big TikTok following or anything like that. It's just like, we'll put it on there and we'll see what happens. For our cold outreach, the LinkedIn side of things probably helps more. So I put more effort into shorts on LinkedIn and linking to our longer videos, or YouTube linking to our longer videos, because I think that's where we'll get potential customers. But again, because our market is so targeted, it's difficult to go and pinpoint all these people with free content and be like, hey, do you have a vegan Shopify store? There's not that many people in the world that do that. And so we can have a very small social media following and get exactly what we want out of that. But it's going to be hard to get there through free content. So that's not really why we're doing these videos. Cold outreach is very specific, so we look at Shopify stores, we decide who we want to work with, and then we start talking to them, and then the content can back up that we know what we're talking about. And so you've just got to think for your business, what's the best way forward? And you'll get sold by marketers every day about this method is the best way, because that's what they specialize in. And so, oh, you should do like SEO. If you don't have great SEO rankings, then you're wasting your time. And it's like, well, you don't know that that's going to work for your business. And so if someone comes to me and says, oh, we're talking about SEO, it's like, okay, well, why don't you just pick the keywords that you think are going to be important to your business, run some paid ads on those keywords, see if you make money from those paid ads and how much traffic you get, and then you can decide whether it's worth spending 6 months or 12 months to build up SEO rankings for those keywords and get the same money you're getting from the paid ads for free. If you can only spend $2,000 a month on Google ads and you've kind of tapped out the market and they're like, well, we don't have any more traffic to send you, there's no point going away and spending $3,000 or $5,000 a month on an SEO agency to rank for free for those terms that you could just pay $3,000 a month to Google to get them anyway. And if you pay for ads, it's probably more reliable than having organic search listings that can disappear. One day I've had clients back in the day where Google misinterpreted something and just went, oh no, you're taken off the search engines, you can't do that anymore. And so yeah, we fixed it and we go around it, but that like took their traffic from great to zero, and then we had to rebuild and find other marketing channels while we fixed that problem and brought it back. So but going to 0 to 1 million, you really want one channel that you can really build on. Then you start adding legs to the stool, so you're more stable and you have different forms of customer acquisition. But in the beginning, it's all about getting one thing working. So hopefully that'll make sense. Quick recap. So the core 4 from Alex Hormozi, so 2 models from him that were really great. So remember, warm outreach, cold outreach, posting free content or paid ads. When you're working on these things, trying to do more, then better, then new, rather than chasing after the shiny objects all the time, and work out what your customer acquisition cost is and the lifetime value of your customers. And so you can decide whether you spend $20 to get a customer and how much you're going to make over their lifetime. If you can nail those 3 concepts, then it makes it easier to grow your business and scale up your brand faster.